Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IS Academy. So today in this video, I'm going to discuss the chapter number 6 of class 6th NCERT. Now, what is the theme of this chapter? Now, first of all, we need to understand what is the theme of this chapter. So the theme of this chapter is related to Indus Valley civilization. Yes, that is the beginning of civilization, Indian civilization. So, first of all, when we talk about civilization, first we need to understand what is the term or what is the meaning of civilization, है ना? कि civilization का असल में मतलब होता क्या है ना? Then we need to understand what was the earliest civilization. As you can see here, the basic questions: what is civilization? What was the earliest civilization of Indian subcontinent and what were its major achievements? Yes, what are its major achievements? Okay. Now, so first of all, we are going to start with the basics because this is class 6 NCERT, and as we know that NCERTs are important for your foundation. Foundation means basic concepts, है ना? Then only you will be able to understand the advanced classes. I hope this much is clear. Okay. See, this Indus Valley civilization is one of the important topics in UPSC examination. Important for your UPSC, है ना? From the perspective of prelims as well as mains also. ठीक है? If it is important from the perspective of prelims and mains, then the command over this chapter and command over overall the concept is very important, है ना? That is why we have started this NCERT series and a foundation course. So without a delay, we are going to start with the basics. So first of all, we'll discuss what is civilization. As you can see on your screen itself, है ना, that what is civilization. So any idea what do you understand by this term civilization? So remember, this civilization represents the advanced stage, okay, advanced stage of human society. Fine. Now, civilization means, because that means it represents the advanced stage of human society. Fine. Now, advanced stage in what sense? Now we need to understand the advanced stage in what sense, है ना? So let's try to understand this thing also, that advanced stage in what sense. First, as you can see here, government and administration. This first thing, to government and administration. Like, why government and administration is important? To manage the complex system, complex society, है ना? So there is a need to manage complex system of society. Then there is a need to manage the hierarchical structure, है ना? It also organized the hierarchical structures. Clear? And this is also like, in society there should be some sort of authority to enforce the decision, है ना? So it represents there is a need for authority to enforce decisions. Fine. Second important thing, urbanism. Urbanism. Now, when we say urbanism, urbanism represents what? Urbanism represents town planning, you know, development and growth of cities, their management, which also includes the drainage system, water management, you know, and also the municipal administration also. Municipal administration, these things. Then next is crafts. Third, craft. That means how to manage the raw materials like stone, metal, etc. है ना? And it is also something which is related to production of a finished goods. Clear? And this also talks about development of specialized techniques. Okay, development of specialized techniques. Fine. Then apart from this, as you can see, trade. Now trade is also important. Both important in trade, both internal as well as external trade. In this exchange, all sorts of goods will be there. Then with this, development of trade routes also, development of trade routes. Okay, then comes fifth point, which is related to the writing system, है ना? Writing system, why writing system is important for the civilization? To keep the records of everything, है ना? Record keeping capability, it is something related to record keeping capability. Fine. Okay, now it is also something to preserve the tradition as well as ancient knowledge. So it is important, writing is important for preservation of knowledge. Okay, then comes cultural ideas. Yes, cultural expression. Now cultural expression can be seen through art and architecture, through literature, through oral tradition, through social custom, through religious and philosophical ideas also. Philosophical ideas. Okay, and then productive agriculture. Yes, 7 point should be here, productive agriculture. Now productive agriculture, with this we can promote agriculture. Now promotion of, why promotion of agriculture is important? So that we can bring surplus of food grains. If surplus of food grains will be there, then only food security will achieve food security. Then surplus amount we can use it for trade and commerce. So in this, the main focus is on surplus of production or surplus production, है ना? Which means capacity to feed not just villages but also the cities. Then when agriculture is promoted, you also need storage, है ना? We also need storage facility. So in this chapter we are going to see these kind of features, and based on these, important sites are there. Clear? Okay, so now as you can see here in this chapter, first thing that we need to understand, the chronological context. So this is something related to chronology, chronological context. Fine. Okay, now which is the oldest civilization of the world? Mesopotamia, है ना? Oldest civilization, Mesopotamia. This is the oldest, happened around 6,000 years ago. That means around 4000 BC. It was established around 4000 BC, as you can see here also in this diagram. Let me show you. So as you can see this diagram, है ना? Now, so Mesopotamian civilization was created around 4000 BC, that is around 6000 years ago. Then few centuries after, Egyptian civilization was created, clear, around 3000 BC. Then Indus Valley civilization was created, timeline 2900 to 1500 BC. Clear? Then this civilization was created. So Indus civilization is also called as Indus and Saraswati civilization. Okay, fine. Okay. Now, so now we are going to discuss the geographical extent and location of this civilization. Okay. Now, as you can see here on your screen itself, from village to city. Clear? Now, why, first of all, why it is called as Indus civilization? You know why it is called as IVC? Because this civilization is created on Indus and its tributaries. Created most of the sites, because most of these sites are on Indus and its tributaries. Clear? Okay. What do you understand by this term tributary? As you can see here, tributary means a river that flows into a larger river or a lake. It is a small river that flows into a larger river. Clear? For example, Yamuna is the tributary of Ganga. Ravi, Byas, Satluj, Chenab, Jhelum, all these are tributaries of Indus River. Clear? So here we are talking about the major river called as Indus River. Now, why Indus River is important here? Now, try to understand why Indus River is important. So, first of all, as you can see here, it flows through Punjab and Sindh. है ना? It flows through Punjab and Sindh region. Fine? Okay. So, it flows through Punjab and Sindh. Now, second important thing, as you can see here, it fertilizes vast plains. Indus River fertilizes vast plains and it is favorable to agriculture. Clear? Second important river of IVC is Saraswati River. As Indus was the major river in northwest, from the perspective of India, because today there is a country called as Pakistan, है ना, because of the partition. So, with respect to sites in India, the most important river was Saraswati River. That is why it is also called as Saraswati civilization. Clear? Now, today Saraswati in India. So, Saraswati River. Now, so Saraswati in India, it is called as Ghaggar. In Pakistan, Saraswati River is called as Hakra River. Where? In Pakistan. Okay. Now, Saraswati River, as you can see here, it originates or flows from the foothills of Himalayas through Haryana, Punjab, parts of Rajasthan, and then Gujarat. Clear? That was the flow of Saraswati River from the foothills of Himalayas till Gujarat. Clear? Today, if you see Saraswati, today this river is seasonal in nature. Today, Saraswati River is seasonal in nature. Fine? Okay. This river is also mentioned in Rig Veda. Mentioned in Rig Veda. I hope this much is clear. Okay. Then high density was there, along the Saraswati basin. Remember this. Clear? So, because of these development, because of the fresh water availability, rivers, so this Indus Valley civilization was created because of the rivers. Because rivers provide fresh water as well as resources. So, Indus Valley civilization is also called as first urbanization of India. This is also considered as period of first urbanization. Fine? Okay. Now, so now we'll see the geographical extent, of Indus Valley civilization. Now, geographical extent of Indus Valley civilization. In north, clear, in north, which region is there? Hindu Kush. In north, Hindu Kush. Then in south, as you can see here, this region, so Ran of Kutch. Ran of Kutch. In east, Aravali ranges. Clear? So in east, this whole region, as you can see here, Aravali ranges. In west, if you see this west region, So here Indus and its plains. In west, Indus and its plains. Now, how natural boundaries were there? Natural boundaries were formed by the mountain ranges. Yes, natural boundaries, as you can see. So, natural boundaries formed by mountain ranges. Clear? Fine. Now, we'll discuss some of the important sites. Okay. So, as you can see here on your screen itself. Now, Harappa. You know, so this is a sort of master column which is given in the book. So as you can see, Harappa city, which is the modern state where Harappa is present today. So it is present in Punjab, Pakistan. Clear? Harappa. Now, why it is called as Harappan civilization? Why Indus Valley civilization is also called as Harappan civilization? Because Harappa was the first discovered site in 1921 by whom? By Dayaram Sahani. Dayaram Sahani. So Harappa was the first discovered site in 1921 by whom? By Dayaram Sahani. So it came to be called as Harappan civilization. Second discovered site was Mohenjo-daro. Mohenjo-daro site was discovered in 1922 by R.D. Banerjee. Clear? Now where Mohenjo-daro is located? So modern day Sindh area. Clear? Now, it was the major metropolitan center, you can say. Mohenjo-daro was the major metropolitan center. Fine? Okay. Now, the recent or new excavated site is Rakhi Gadi, which was excavated in 2022. Now, where is Rakhi Gadi? Rakhi Gadi, present day Haryana. And because of the excavation of Rakhi Gadi, let me tell you that before Rakhi Gadi, Mohenjo-daro was the largest site. But after the excavation of Rakhi Gadi became the largest site. Fine. So Rakhi Gadi. So this is the largest Harappan site. Largest Harappan site. Clear? Then there is Kalibangan also. Now where is Kalibangan? Kalibangan is in Rajasthan. Kalibangan means black bangle. Clear? So Kalibangan, why it is important? Because it was the eastern settlement also. Eastern settlement. Clear? And then comes Dholavira. Okay. Dholavira in Gujarat, and Dholavira is also the 39th UNESCO World Heritage Site. Fine. Dholavira is the only city divided into three parts. We'll discuss these. Clear? And Dholavira is also the site for water reservoir. This question was already asked in UPSC prelims examination. Fine. So these are some important sites. Clear? Now, why it is important for UPSC examination? Because in UPSC, they ask extensive geographical areas which actually indicate the sophisticated organization as well as trade networks which actually span over thousands of kilometers. That is why these sites are important. Now, next important thing, as you can see on your screen, that is nomenclature as well as significance. Clear? So now we'll talk about the significance or the features of IVC. Okay. So let's talk about the features of IVC. Now, which is the first important feature? First important feature is town planning. Yes, town planning is the first or prominent feature of IVC. Now, what kind of features are there? Important features of IVC. So here the cities are divided into two parts. First of all, grid planning system was there. Grid planning, as you can see here, as you can see on your screen, grid planning system. So this is called as grid planning. So grid settlements are there. Clear? Now in grid settlements, wide streets were there, wide streets are there, north to south, east to west direction, clear, which represent the mathematical planning, precise mathematical planning. Then perpendicular street patterns, clear, perpendicular street patterns, then small lanes connecting to main streets, fine, okay. Now, how cities were created? So as you can see this, clear, see this paragraph. So generally the cities were divided into two parts. Cities divided into two parts. One is called as upper town, another is called as lower town. Fine. Now, first of all, upper town. It was created on higher platform, that is upraised platform. And this is generally a fortified area. It is a fortified area. Fine. Also, it is inhabited by rich people, VIPs, or you can say elite people. Lower town is on the lower platform and inhabited by common people. This is for common people. So town planning clearly represent what? That in Indus Valley civilization, there was, you can say, there was a class system. That means society was divided into rich and poor. Fine. Clear. So two types of towns were there generally. Now, there was one town which was divided into three parts. And what was the name of that town? That town was Dholavira. Clear? Remember this thing, that Dholavira was the only town divided into three parts. Fine? Okay. So massive fortifications were there. Fortification means massive defensive walls were there surrounding the cities, specifically in upper town, so that common people cannot enter in upper town. Clear? And it also, now various historians, they say that fortification also indicates the military consciousness at that time. Clear? For security concerns. And it was built with bricks. Clear? The construction was done with bricks. As you can see here, all buildings were made of bricks. Fine? Okay. So when we say building construction, so there was uniformity. Clear? When we talk about building construction, so there was uniformity, or you can say there was uniformly high quality construction was there. Uniformly high quality construction was there. Okay. And primarily made up of baked bricks. Remember this thing, made up of baked bricks. Clear? Dholavira was the exception. Now, why Dholavira was the exception? As Dholavira was divided into three parts, clear, upper town, middle town and lower town. And in Dholavira, stone foundation was there. Stone foundation rather than bricks. Clear? So, stone foundation was there for most of the building in Dholavira. Clear? Remember this. And they have also used natural bitumen. Clear? For waterproofing. So for waterproofing, they have used what? Natural bitumen. Clear? Okay. Now we need to discuss the important structures in IVC. I hope this much is clear. So I am going to rub this. Okay. So now try to understand important structures. Clear? So, okay, fine. So now we'll discuss about the important structures. So let's talk about major structures and facilities. So this paragraph, so from here it starts. So it is something related to major structures and facilities. Fine. Okay. The first major structure I would like to tell you, Great Bath in Mohenjo-daro. Now, Great Bath in Mohenjo-daro, if you see the dimension 12 by 7 meters, clear? This is the dimension of Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. Now, it is an elaborate water tank. It had the evidence of waterproofing material, as you can see here, like natural bitumen, a form of tar, which is applied on the top very carefully, laid out in the bricks. Clear? Now, this water tank, so let me show you the images as well. Yes. Now, as you can see this image here, okay. Now, see this image. So, this is the image of water tank. This is the elaborate tank of waterproofing. Okay. Apart from this, natural bitumen was applied for waterproofing. Then it is surrounded by small rooms, as you can see here. So this is surrounded by small rooms, as you can see on your screen. Clear? And one of which contained a well also. One of the room contained well also, and the corner drains were there for emptying and refilling the fresh water. This is the scientific thing which was there in this period. Okay. Now, there are various interpretations related to Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. Now, what are the interpretations? Many say that it was a public bath for people. So, public bath. Now, see, today it is not correct. This is ruled out. Why? Because most houses had individual wells also. Clear? Individual bathroom also. Clear? Okay. Other like archaeologists, historian, they say that it was a bath for the royal family only or elite people only. This might be correct. Then it is a tank used for the religious ritual. This might also be correct. But the scholars, they still debate what was the exact purpose of this great bath of Mohenjo-daro. Clear? Okay. Now, second important thing is water management. Now, let's talk about the water management. So, now we'll discuss water management. Now, why water management is important? First of all, what is the importance of water management? है ना? Importance of water management. Clear? Now, why water is important here? See, the whole civilization is created because of water. So, water is a centralized thing for this civilization. Clear? Water management is central to civilizational success. Fine. And it also indicates the engineering knowledge. Clear? It reflects sophisticated engineering knowledge as well. It also indicates the organized municipal administration. Now, water management is critical for management as well as cleanliness. That means it is critical for health as well as cleanliness. Clear? Now, next important thing is that we need to understand the drainage system also. Now, why drainage system? As you can see this image, okay. Now, see this image, drainage system. As you can see, this is a drainage system. Now, drainage is one of the general feature. It is one of the general feature of this Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Like in this drainage system, so even in all the houses, They have separate bathing areas in homes. Then they have underground drainage networks also. In IVC, there is an evidence of underground drainage networks. Then waste waste water removal system was also there. Fine. So these systems were there during this period. That is why drainage pattern is important. Like example, important drainage agar hum dekhe, so Lothal, see this diagram. Now see this drainage system at Lothal, Gujarat, which is very important. That actually reflects the well preserved drainage channels. Well preserved drainage channel. Fine. Then even in Mohenjo-daro also people drew water from hundreds of well made of bricks. Clear? These systems were there. Now, apart from this, if you see, water supply systems were also there. Now, what kind of water supply systems? Like wells used to be there. Okay. So, what this is something related to water supply systems. Now, when we talk about water supply systems, so the most important thing, most important site was Mohenjo-daro. Now, why Mohenjo-daro? It is said that approximately 700 brick constructed well is there. 700 brick constructed well was found. Clear? And regular maintenance was also there in Mohenjo-daro. Clear? Then apart from this, water reservoir, as you can see, this image. Okay. Now, it is something related to the water reservoir where Dolavira, as you can see this. Clear? So, it is written here at least 6 large reservoirs were built with stones or even cut into rock, and most of them connected through underground drains for efficient water harvesting and distribution. Clear? So, if you see the length, the length was 73 meters in length. 73 meters in length. Clear? This much is clear to all of you, and this also represent the underground drainage networks. Clear? And then apart from this, other water sources are also there. Other water sources like ponds used to be there, nearby streams, then human made reservoirs were also there, etc. Clear? Okay. Now we'll talk about the agriculture and diet. So let's talk about agriculture and diet. So as you can see the heading here, see this heading. What did Harappans eat? है ना? So it is something which is related to, it is related to agriculture and diet. Fine. Okay. First of all, we need to understand why agriculture is important. See, agriculture is the most important part of economic activity in Harappan period. Okay. Okay. So agriculture is the most important part of economic activity. Now, why agriculture is the most important part of economic activity? Because the settlements, the sites are nearby to the rivers. Now, rivers provide what? Fertile soil. Rivers provide what? Fertile soil. So, remember this thing. Why river settlements were important in this period? Try to understand. So, why river settlements are important? First is easy access to water. Easy access to water. Fine. Okay. So first thing is easy access to water. Then availability of fertile soil, availability of fertile soil. Then these things became the reason for agricultural surplus production. Okay, agricultural surplus production. Fine. Okay. Now try to understand what are the crops that Harappans cultivated, है ना? तो सबसे पहले हमें समझना है what are the important crops. Now as you can see here, Harappans grew cereals like barley, wheat, some millets, and sometimes rice. Now the demand of UPSC here is, what does it represent? If I ask you what was the primary crop which Harappans used to cultivate, so what will you say? है ना? So first thing is barley and wheat. These two crops, which I have underlined in terms of black color, these two crops were the primary crops. These were primary crops. Second, millets. Some millets. It is written some millets. Millets were secondary. Fine. And rice sometimes, as you can see, rice was rarely cultivated. Fine. Rice was rarely cultivated, and there are only two important sites which gives the evidence that there was rice cultivation. One is Lothal in Gujarat. Okay. Another is Rangpur. Fine. Only these two sites. Okay. Now, whether is there any evidence of pulses also? So let's try to understand this. Okay. So I'll just clean this image. Okay. Now try to understand, is there any evidence of pulses? As you can see, yes, pulses were also there and variety of vegetable. What kind of pulses are there? What kind of pulses are there? Beans, peas, all these kind of pulses. Clear? Beans, peas, lentils means dal. Clear? These things. Why? Because these were pulses were the important source of protein. Next important thing, other crops like vegetables were also there, varieties of vegetables were there. And the most important development was Harappan people were also the first in Eurasia to grow cotton on a large scale. So remember this thing, Harappan people used to grow cotton in northwest Sindh region. Clear? Cotton as a crop used to cultivate in Sindh Valley. So outsiders, they used to call cotton as Sindan. Clear? They used to call cotton as Sindan, a crop which is grown or cultivated in Sindh Valley. Fine? Okay. Now, another important thing was domestication of livestock also. So now we'll try to understand this thing also. Okay. Now, as you can see here on your screen, that Harappans domesticated large number of animals for meat consumption and fished also in rivers as well as sea. That means Harappan people, they followed vegetarian and non-vegetarian diet. They they used to consume meat also, which means it was these you can say mature civilization. Clear? Religion might be present, but it was not dominating into the scene. These things were also there. Clear? Then apart from this, fishing was also there. That means fishing in rivers as well as sea. This represent what fishing in rivers means: freshwater fishing. There was active fresh water fishing. Then in sea, that means marine fishing was also there. Marine fishing was also there. Clear? That is why large number of fish bones are also found. Apart from this, scientific examination of clay pot, they also provided various other things like there are remains of turmeric, ginger and banana. Clear? Dairy product was expected in Harappan civilization, but turmeric, ginger and banana, these things are surprising. Clear? Okay. Fine. Now, next important thing is related to trade and commerce. Now, as you can see on your screen, this heading, a brisk trade. So, we'll try to understand this trade and commerce. With respect to trade and commerce, so Harappan people engaged in both kinds of trade, that is internal trade as well as external trade. Okay, fine. Now, when we say internal trade represents between nearby cities. Clear? As you can see here, between nearby cities, between distant settlement. Clear? Regional exchange networks were also there. Then, when we talk about external trade with other civilization, with other civilization like Mesopotamia, Egyptian civilization. Fine. This was also there. So external trade represents outside India, long distance maritime trade. Then this also represents that this period gives us or reflects the first intensive maritime activity in India. Clear? Now, what are the export items? So now let's try to understand what are the export items. So as you can see here, the exported ornaments, timber, some of daily objects used. Clear? When you read these lines, है ना? Now the task here is how to understand these lines as per the concept for your examination. So primary export items were ornaments. Try to understand. Primary export items. Primary export items, ornament. In ornament, especially beads. Clear? What kind of beads? As you can see here, favored ornaments were beads of carnelian beads. Okay, carnelian beads. Clear? And there was various decorative variations. So I'll show you the image also. Now see these carnelian beads in red color in your screen. Fine. Then second important thing was crafted goods. Second important thing was crafted goods. Now, crafted goods like shell, uh, crafted goods like shell bangles. Fine. Then this also mentioned that sophisticated techniques were used. Sophisticated techniques were used. Clear? Now, what kind of materials are used? In what kind of materials were exported? So, exported material. So, Harappan people used to export what? They used to export timber. They used to export cotton as well as sometime gold also. Clear? Then we have also found the objects of daily use. Clear? Like as you can see, objects of daily use. This is the example. Objects of daily use. Okay, fine. So when we say objects of daily use, the first important thing, ivory comb. This is ivory comb, which is around 7 centimeter long, and this is the Harappan ivory comb found on the coast of Oman. Oman was also called as Makan coast. Clear? Coast of Oman. Fine. So this actually indicates the long distance maritime trade. Then food items were also exported because there was surplus, food grain surplus was there. Clear? So these things were exported. Now what are the items for import? Now we'll discuss what are the items for imports. Import items. So import items here like copper. Now you will say, sir, copper, it is the normal metal. Though it is the normal metal, but copper is not in abundance in India. It is not abundant. Clear? Second, so it is said that copper we used to import from outside. Clear? And copper was also essential for tool making as well as ornament, tool making and ornament making. Clear? Now, important trade routes, land routes were there, sea routes were there, river routes. Clear? So, what kind of trade routes were there? So, let me tell you. So, with respect to trade routes, so three types of trade routes were there: land route, river routes, and sea route. Fine. Now, with respect to this, is there any maritime center? Yes, maritime center was also there. So now we'll talk about the maritime center. Okay. So I hope this much is clear to all of you. So let's talk about the maritime center, which is present here itself. Lothal, a small settlement in Gujarat. And Lothal was also the coastal area, and surprisingly, it has a huge basin measuring 217 meters in length and 36 meter in width. Clear? So Lothal was also the dockyard. It was also the dockyard. Clear? Now, it was, if you compare, it was slightly longer than two football grounds. Clear? Now, what was the function of this dockyard? It used to receive, remember this thing, it used to receive and send boats for further transportation of goods. Clear? Now, with respect to this, it also indicates the evidence of maritime trade. Okay, so now try to understand. As you can see the image of Lothal here. Okay, this is Lothal dockyard. Fine. Okay, now try to understand. So it actually represent the sophisticated harbor infrastructure. Okay, sophisticated harbor infrastructure. Clear? So it also indicates the evidence of maritime trade. Clear? Now, apart from this, how like trade mechanism was there, how trade was identified. So this paragraph is related to that thing only. Clear? So now we'll talk about okay. Now. So this paragraph is related to trade mechanism as well as identification. Fine. Okay. Now, key to trade organization. First, try to understand. As you can see, these figures. Now, these are called as seals. Now, what is sealed? Seals are geometrical shaped object. Geometrical shaped objects. Fine. Different shapes like square, triangular, circular, with different shapes are there. It actually marks the authority of IVC. Different authorities. Clear? Generally, seals are made from soft river stone called as steatites. So generally, the seals are made from steatite, which is also called as soft river stone. Clear? Now, thousands of seals have been excavated, and the material is steatite. Now, the size of the seal only few centimeters. Apart from this, what are the designs which are depicted in the seals? As you can see here, so in this, animal figures are shown. Clear? And then you can see this writing script is also there. So what kind of script is this? This is considered as pictographic in nature. Clear? Pictographic script, symbols are created. So what kind of animals are there? Animals like unicorn, bull, horned tiger is also there. So these kind of animals are there. Fine. Now the question here is, what was the purpose of the seal? है ना? UPSC can also ask you what was the purpose of the seal. So let's try to understand this thing also, that what is the purpose of seal. First of all, it used to identify the goods in trade. Second purpose is identify individual traders, that which trader had issued this particular seal. Then seals were also used as standardization of transactions. Then it also gives the authentication of the product. Clear? So these were the purposes of seals. Then in some of the seals, the symbol of psi, the symbol of phi, and the symbol of pi is also mentioned. Geometrical shape seals are there, which means it is said that seals can also be, it could also be used for the purpose of education. Fine. Okay. Now we'll discuss other aspects. Clear? Now we'll try to understand the other aspects. Now try to understand material culture. As you can see on your screen, the lives of the ancient archaeologists have unearthed many objects used by Harappans. Okay, fine. So this is something related to the material culture and daily life. Related to material culture and daily life. Fine. Okay. So there are various things. As you can see, this is bronze mirror. है ना? This is a bronze mirror. Where it is found? It is found from Dholavira. It indicates what? It indicates cosmetic and grooming practices. Indicates the cosmetic and grooming practices. That means people were conscious about their fashion. Clear? Second, terracotta pot. It is also found from Dholavira only. Terracotta pot. Clear? Now, of various designs and shapes. Various designs and shape. This also represent the artistic decoration. Artistic decoration. Fine. Okay. Then, as you can see here, stone weights also on your screen. Yes, as you can see, this is stone weights. Fine. So when we say stone weights, so here multiple pieces are found. Multiple pieces of stones are found. This represents what? Standardized measurement. Standardized weights. Clear? And this were also used for trade purpose. Used for trade purpose. This represent the mathematical precision. Clear? Then, as you can see, this is bronze chisel from Dholavira. Clear? This is also from Dholavira, which is from, this is bronze chisel. This can be considered as a tool for craftsmanship. Tool for craftsmanship. Clear? See, in your books only images are given. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm trying to explain you what was the purpose of this, because this is the relevance of UPSC in prelims examination. Clear? So you can draw all these things, you can write down all these things. Clear? This was the tool for craftsmanship. And this also represent what? Metallurgical advancement. Also represent metallurgical, okay, advancement. Fine. Now, there are other images also, as you can see on your screen. Now, as you can see, this is sort of gaming equipment. This is sort of gaming equipment. Fine. So you can say it is a like of, or it is a kind of game board. Clear? It is a kind of game board. And it is around 25 centimeter in length. It is also found from where? It is also found from Dholavira. Clear? It actually indicates the recreational activities. Then another important thing, as you can see here, now this is a terracotta whistle, clear, which is 4 centimeter in length, and where it is found? It is found in Karanpura in Rajasthan. So this is considered as one of the musical instrument. Fine. This is one of the musical instrument and can be considered as the toys of children. Clear? Now, there are other images also in your book. So as you can see these images, cultural and symbolic objects. So now as you can see this image is considered as the statue of priest king. Statue of priest king. Now this is a bronze figure. This is the bronze figure. Clear? Now this is the bronze figure. Exact identity of this figure is unknown, but the historians, archaeologists, they have predicted that it can be a priest king. Clear? But this represent the artistic skills in sculpture in Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Then there are seals with deities also. Now these two things we need to understand. Seals with deities. Now first thing is, as you can see, this is swastik seal. Swastik seal, as you can see this. Swastik symbol. Clear? So from this we can say swastik was the ancient symbol. Second is a seal. This is also called as proto Shiva seal. Proto Shiva seal or three-faced deity seal. As you can see, this is written here, three-faced deity seal. Clear? And three-faced deity seated on raised platform surrounded by powerful animals. Clear? So this indicates what? This indicates the spiritual practices. Okay. This indicates the spiritual practices, and this gesture is still continuity in modern culture, modern society. Clear? So these are some important things, as well as it also indicates the you can say religious complexity. Clear? Okay. Another important image, artistic expression, as you can see here. Okay. This is the image of bronze dancing girl. Bronze dancing girl. Fine. Now, when this bronze dancing girl, the height of this statue is around 10.8 centimeter high, which is written here. As you can see this, 10.8 centimeters high. Clear? Now, apart from this, this statue is actually posed in dancing attitude. Clear? Here, bangles covered entire arm. Bangles covered entire arm. Clear? It actually indicates the artistic sophistication. Second important thing, it also indicates the dance and entertainment. Clear? Then it also indicates female social status as well as fashionable culture in Indus Valley civilization. Then there is another image of this Namaste design terracotta figure. This is the terracotta figure. This is terracotta construction. Terracotta construction. Seated in which pose? Namaste pose. Clear? It indicates what? It indicates the spiritual practices. Spiritual practices. So this gesture, Namaste gesture, is still continue. It is still in tradition in the modern culture. Okay, this is the relevance of Indus Valley civilization. Fine. So one thing we can say that still cultural continuity is there. Okay, these things represent what? These things represent that IVC culture still exists in present Indian context. Fine. Clear? Like bangle wearing practice still there. Okay. And even today, Bhil tribe women in Rajasthan, they wear that big bangles, they cover arms also with bangles. So that is the tradition. Clear? Okay. Now next important thing is that we need to understand the decline of IVC. So now we'll try to understand the decline. Fine? Okay. So let's try to understand how this decline of civilization took place. As you can see here, the end of or a new beginning. Clear? So IVC started declining from 1900 to 1500 BC. So first of all, it was not the sudden decline, it was a gradual decline because of various factors. Fine. Now, so this process was gradual. Remember this thing. Now, how was the decline process took place? So there are various factors for the decline of IVC. So let's try to understand. As you can see, what are the causes for decline? First of all, so the first thing is abandonment. Abandonment. That means cities deserted systematically. Fine. Okay. Second, government and administration disappeared. Okay. Then organized life ended. Clear? Infrastructure maintenance was seized. Various factors. Because of all these things, the urbanization which was there, clear, that urbanization was ended and people returned to ruralism. Clear? In this way, people returned to ruralism. And I would like to mention one more thing here, that many of the students they think that IVC people died. No, civilization declined. People were still there. The urbanized culture became regional culture now. Okay, because of various factors. So return to ruralism. Clear? Like the survivors, they adopted rural lifestyle. Fine. Clear? Hundreds to thousands of small cities disappeared. Clear? Because of these reasons. Clear? And it seems like Harappan do not seem to have kept any army or weapons of war. Many people they say Aryans destroyed the civilization, but that theory is incorrect. Aryan people they came in a very small group. Okay. And Harappan people were large in number, and a very small group cannot destroy the whole civilization. First of all, clear? It cannot destroy the whole civilization. Mark my words. So that theory is not correct. Clear? There is no evidence of warfare, that war happened between the two communities. That is Aryans as well as IVC people. No, IVC people considered as peaceful people. Fine. Okay. Now, apart from this, the most accepted theory, as you can see, climate change. Two major factors where archaeologists and historians they agree that because of these reasons, Harappans or IVC was declined. First is climate change. Clear? Climate change. This actually affected the world from 2200 BC. Like reduced rainfall and drier phase was there. If rainfall will be reduced, so the civilization which are created nearby rivers, because for rivers water comes from rainwater also. So if the rainwater is not there or rain is not there, then ultimately the rivers will also decline. Clear? And if rivers decline, agriculture will also decline. If agriculture decline, that means economy started declining. In this way, the whole civilization gets declined. Fine. So drier phase. And because of this reason, second important thing, Saraswati river dried up in its central basin. So when Saraswati river dried up in its central basin, the cities nearby Saraswati rivers like Kalibangan or Banawali, they were also abandoned. Clear? So because of these reasons, complete water supply loss was there. Complete water supply loss, and this resulted into the agriculture failure. Fine. This resulted into the agriculture failure. I hope this much is clear to all of you. Okay. So now the question here is, then what happened to Harappans? Clear? So what happened to Harappan? These Harappan people. So I would like to tell you here that these Harappan people moved to rural settlements. It was a gradual transition. Cultural practices continued. Cultural practices continued. Clear? And they got integrated with regional population. This is how urban culture got declined. And by 1500 BC, IVC was completely declined. At the same time, advent of Aryans took place, which resulted into the Vedic culture. So the timeline of advent of Aryan and decline of IVC is parallel to each other. So don't get confused. 1500 BC, IVC was declined. 1500 BC, advent of Aryans. Clear? That is why much of Harappan culture is still continued. This one is clear to all of you. So overall, okay. Now, if you ask me, so what is the importance of overall IVC? So I would say cultural elements. Clear? What are the important things which still surviving, like jewelry practices, still there from IVC. Second important thing, artistic traditions, then agricultural methods. Okay. Third, fourth important thing, religious concept. Another, narrative tradition. And then last, craft technique. Fine. So this is the relevance of IVC, and after the decline of IVC, Vedic culture was started and advent of Aryans. Clear everyone? So this is all about this chapter, that is chapter number 6, which is related to Indus Valley civilization. So Indus Valley civilization was created on the rivers and its tributaries, possibly from here, because rivers gave prosperity to the IVC people. Possibly from here, worshipping river culture was started, which still continuing today. So I hope this much is clear. So this is all about important concepts which is present in chapter number 6. Thank you so much.